Hello, my name is Brianna Sinclair, and this is my video on how I knew I needed to transition and start going to therapy. I knew I needed to start going to therapy even before I knew I was transgender. I just didn't know quite why or what for. I just thought I was kind of unhappy at times, and that's the big little bit that I felt was kind of the start. And if I couldn't figure it out, why would I go to somebody else that also didn't know? So this one is probably going to be one of the more scripted videos because I do have two lists of books. Two lists on two different pages and two different books on why I should transition. I'm going to read them and explain them as quickly as I can because as my wife does watch these videos, she did say that they were getting a little long and that they were getting boring. So I'm trying to keep everything energetic and engaged. I don't know how to do that, and I don't know how to convey my personality through these videos to y'all so that way y'all can experience what I'm experiencing and see it from my point of view. But I am trying. Findy, are you good? You really moving today. So we're just gonna jump into it. There are some characteristics in there that I did want to talk about, and those are the ones that kind of verge on the realm of like autogynephilia. And for those of you that don't know what that is, it was something that really depressed me, like what if that is true? And looking back and digging deeper, that's not true, and it was a completely other side of it. Throughout all of these, there were some that were sexual in nature, there were some that were, most of them were just my personality, and everything had one thing in common, and that was the intense desire to be a woman. And that was it. That's what drove the start of it and me coming out. So we'll jump right into it. Alright, so we're going to start with this one first. Likes dolls. Makes and likes scary dolls, has since she was a child. I do refer to myself as she in these because those are my pronouns of choice. So yes. But yes, on the other side of this, yes, I do like dolls. I played with dolls since I was a kid. My first doll was like a little Woody doll from Toy Story. It was like the most masculine doll at the time, and even then, not so masculine. Sure, it's a cowboy, but even in Toy Story 2, it's very similar to, oh man, is it Jackie? Is the female doll? I don't remember her name. But yes, I had a Woody doll. I couldn't play dress up with him with like I would a Barbie. I had to dress over his clothes because his clothes were also like what his stuffing was in. So there was that aspect. Now I make a lot more adult version dolls. I did make a doll whenever I was a kid. It was borderline a weapon at the time because I used random things that I found around the house and I got from like other relatives and stuff like that they thought were cool. And one of them gave me like, it's for gigging frogs. It's like a little pitchfork, and I made that his hand. I didn't have anything else, so I did that. Now I make dolls from a series called Puppet Master. It's a long series, there's a lot of dolls in it. But I make them, and honestly they come out pretty good. And I like to play with them. I'll get one real quick. Here we go. These are two of them. I know that they're creepy. For those of you that have seen the series, yes, they're scary. This one is Jester. His face does move. He lost his widow hat. You can sit there, buddy. And then I've got Tunneler. His uniform's a little wrong, but he came out pretty good, in my opinion. Not great, not terrible. Alright. These are the dolls I make. These are two of them. I've made Blade, Jester, that was Tunneler. Mephisto, I was working on Bombshell, but I stopped because at the time I wasn't good with makeup and I didn't know how to do a face-up. So I put her on hold, and she was the first female doll that I did. And yeah, my taste in dolls isn't really great, but the boys, I could just paint them and get away with a lot. Girls, they were soft features that I couldn't perfect, and I didn't want to. I'm a perfectionist myself. I didn't want to I guess botch my project. Next, likes makeup, not good at it. That's actually what it says. I'm reading these word for word as what they say and explaining. Yes, I do like makeup, and I'm still not good at it. I'm okay. I do alright. I'm still working on blending and lip color and stuff like that. Working on my brows, getting those, making those as good as I can, and choosing eyeshadow. My friends are a lot more artistic and creative with their eyeshadow colors than me. I do alright. I do alright. I find something that works and usually I stick to it. Sorry. As a new wig, and so I'm playing with it because I'm very nervous and stuff like that. I don't know why I get so nervous on these videos, but I do my best because I do want overall to share the journey that I'm embarking on. Likes girl clothes and shoes and wants to look like a girl. Wants to look like a girl. Yes. I don't like my boy clothes. I don't like my boy clothes because I don't feel myself in them. I started wearing girl clothes, and the first time it felt really wonderful. Up until it was wonderful up until it wasn't. And me wanting to be a girl kind of went into like that feeling. It kind of came from that feeling, and I tried to suppress it for years, and maybe thought that, like, you know what, maybe I'm just a cross-dresser. I can have like a whole nother wardrobe, cross-dress in secret and stuff like that, and be me. And outside of my home, I could be the boy that I was born as, and indoors I could be a girl. Even that proved to not be enough, so that kind of went into like me needing to transition. Loves she and her pronouns, however using he and him doesn't bother me, but it's not my preferred. I don't like giving people the choice or power over my emotions. So if they choose not to respect my pronouns, it doesn't bother me, because I'm not doing this for them, I'm doing this for me. My transition is for me, and sure, like being referred to she is the goal. I take the the misgendering as feedback, like, oh, I'm not being feminine enough, I need to work on it. And then I take a look at myself and be like, okay, I wasn't feminine in these ways. I need to fix these things. That's how I look at it. I'm not going to get angry, I'm not going to get upset because somebody said he or dude or boy, guy. Pick your synonym and variation. Loves to swim and run, but hates sports and always has. Sports were generally a very masculine thing, and I never really liked them because I never wanted to do sports. I would much rather kind of be on my own and do my own thing. And that's where that mostly came from. So yes, I swim and I like to swim and I run. I run because it's peaceful. To me, it's peaceful. And whenever I swim, my favorite thing to do in like a really big pool is to dive under the water, spread my arms, and pretend I'm flying. Because to feel the water rush past my arms and the rest of my body is amazing to me. It just feels good. Those are the only reasons I like those. I wrestled in junior high and high school, and I wasn't good, but I held my own. And because I was little, my parents wouldn't sign anything that said I could do football or anything like that. They wanted me to do sports, but in doing like track and cross country, those were the only ones that like I really cared about because the environments were different. Wants breasts, not huge, but something I can be proud of, and say that I'm a girl. The reasoning behind that is because having boobs is like the most affirming. So my breast augmentation would be the most affirming surgery in me becoming a woman. Yeah. I can look like a girl in my face and sound like a boy. I can have like a feminine body and still sound like a boy, but like having boobs kind of or breasts changes that. It kind of signifies to everybody subconsciously I'm dealing with a woman. And that's it. And that because of that, it's also the reason that I want it last in my surgeries, because I would kind of like to just show up one day and then everything just click. Just be there. Everybody would see me and be like, oh, she's a girl. 100% a girl. And like my coworkers and stuff would know that. And even some of my coworkers, they know that I'm transgender and they know that it doesn't bother me, but because they're so used to calling me he and him, I let them get away with it. But in me having my surgery, I'm hoping that whenever I come back and I'm healed and everything, they'll be like, oh, why am I using these pronouns? This is a girl. I'm dealing with a girl. And that's it. Wants a cute round butt to look more feminine and to look better in women's clothing. Yes. This goes back to like my body shape. I've made workout routines and stuff like that, and stuff like that to build my gluteus medius, my gluteus maximus, and my tensor facialis, which is like the side muscle on like your legs, which like helps build your hips. And that was to build my hips and my butt to kind of give an hourglass shape, and to like round out my butt. That did not work for me, and I had been doing it for a hot minute and didn't see any results, unfortunately, and I was super sad about it. But that was the goal. I was trying to feminize my body even before I could have a BBL. As of right now, I use shapewear, I use hip pads and butt pads to round out my figure, to help feminize my body. Hates body hair, especially that which transpired from puberty. Yes. The moment I started growing hair on like my face, my body, everywhere, I was very distraught about it. I knew I didn't want it, and I just kind of like was in this area where I had to deal with it, because it was expected that I, as a boy, have arm hair, leg hair, facial hair, and stuff like that, and I was not about it. Having to shave for JRTC and stuff like that was easy, because I didn't want it anyway. And I've tried other various hair removal methods to the point where like I've burnt hair off chemically and just caused myself to bleed. Several places I've like filleted my skin pretty good with a razor, because I would shave so close, and it was not fun. And that was just because if there was one hair, it was an issue for me. Loves and misses her long hair. Loved braiding it and putting it in a ponytail. It was a relief to have it. I had long hair. In college, I had long hair. It was wonderful. I never really did anything with it, except when I was at work, I would put it up in a ponytail. And some of my friends thought it'd be funny, like while I was working, to try and braid it. It wasn't a big braid, but it was cute. I missed it. I had to cut it all off, but I'm hoping that I can grow it out soon. But the reason for having my long hair for me was, initially it started because I just didn't want to get my hair cut, and I thought this was my chance to have long hair, so I started growing it out. As it grew longer, it became more and more wonderful to have. The only negative thing about it was I used more shampoo and conditioner, and the occasional like attempting to strangle me at night, but that was it. Taking a shower with it and swimming with it was amazing, because the additional weight it would soak up from the water would kind of like press against my back, and it was kind of like it was giving me a little hug. And I never used it in like a feminine way specifically, but I guess in a way it did kind of help me feel more feminine at the time. loves female picture of herself. My wife, I came out to my wife, and she didn't know how to deal with it, so she took a picture of me that she had previously taken and altered it. She gave me cleavage, she swapped my gender completely, gave me long hair, and did my makeup. All from this picture. I knew it was hard for her, and that's why she was doing it, to see if she could be with somebody like me. And to see what I would even look like. But whenever she hit the gender swap button, the only thing that it did in this app was it got rid of my Adam's apple and my facial hair and my my brow bone. That was it. Everything else was left exactly the same. And all she had to do was grow out my hair in the way that she thought would be a good style for me. She gave me boobs in a way that would kind of match my body shape and style. And then she did my makeup. She gave me reddish hue on my lips and bronzed my cheeks and my forehead and highlighted. It was wonderful. She played around with like my hair color for a little bit too. But I was just happy that she was even considering it to that point at the time. Prefers to urinate sitting down due to shy bladder, needs to practice standing up. Yes, my job requires me to do random UAs for the or urinalysis, and essentially it's a random thing. It could be like several times a week. I've had it done where it was almost 4 times a week to I don't get one for several months. So yes, it is truly random. But because I have a shy bladder and I don't like to urinate in front of people, I practice at the urinal so that way, like, me having to use their urinal is not as foreign to me as having this person standing there watching me. Painting nails and wear heels as a child, likes it still. As a kid, I liked to wear my mom's heels. She had these like shin-high or knee-high boots. And at the time, because I was so little, they were essentially thigh-highs on me that were so stiff, because they weren't meant to bend, that I couldn't get up. I would sit there with my feet in these things and kind of like move my feet around. I would try and get up sometimes and was never able to. And I still like to wear heels now. As she gets older, saying her birth gender is more is getting more and more problematic. I don't like saying that I'm a boy. I would much prefer to say that I'm a woman. Do I have to acknowledge the fact that I was born a male? Absolutely. Because of my chromosomes, I have to acknowledge and will always have to admit that I have XY chromosomes. No matter how much I wish I didn't. But saying that I'm a female, saying that I'm a woman helps me so much. And kind of acknowledging that and come to the terms with that and since starting my transition, it was getting hard for me to kind of like look at bathroom signs. I was like, man, that is a constant affirmation that I'm not what I'm supposed to be. Um, likes to dress sexy for herself. Cross dresses in private and home as best I can. Yeah, I wear dresses, leggings, thigh highs, skirts, tops. I wear all sorts of things for myself. I have a thing for like leggings and skirts because I like them. I like the way they feel. I like the way they look, and that's me. I don't wear skirts a lot because I don't wear skirts and leggings in these videos because I try not to wear like anything too shape based as of yet. I do just kind of wear things that, like, I think are comfortable because I imagine like whenever I sit down for these videos I don't know where they're gonna go, so I dress for comfort. She wears jackets all the time because she's uncomfortable in her own skin to give her an androgynous look, vice masculine. I wore a jacket every day for years since I was a child. I would take them off sometimes, but every day I would wear some form of jacket, hoodie, or something like that. Since I was really little. Really little. And I had been doing it for so long that I actually got used to the heat. I started my hormones and felt considerably more comfortable in my skin to the point where I could take my jacket off. It just took me a little bit to get to the fact that the world is a lot colder than what I'm used to. So yeah. And in my mind, it was better to be viewed as like this shapeless mass than a boy. Loves to sew. So the reason that one is on there is because sewing is traditionally a feminine hobby, and I do traditionally like feminine things. I like to paint my nails. I make dolls, and I clearly sew. Um, and I never really liked to work out and or anything like that. Whenever I did, I would mainly work out my chest because I felt like maybe if my pectorals were bigger, that would fix my problem and kind of allow me to be a little bit more feminine in a masculine way, I guess was my thinking. It made no sense to me at the time, but I was also like really, really tired at the time. I used to go on like 4 hours of sleep for months at a time. But that was my irrational thinking at the time, and hindsight's always 20/20, and it was really wrong. Um, loves to cuddle with and lay on her wife. More specifically, loves to be like the little spoon, I guess. I like to be in like the female role in certain things, many things, because I don't mind it. It's more comfortable for me. I don't know, things just seem a little bit better, and that's pretty much all there is to that one. I like to be able to wrap my arms around like my wife and lay on her, vice her lay on me. Do I mind the other one? Absolutely not. I love both. I just there's something a little bit different about whenever I can lay on her. And that's it. She wants to be more flexible to promote her female qualities, widen her hips, thicken her thighs, and round her butt. Yep, it's another shape thing. That one was more referring to me trying to do the splits. To the idea of me trying to do the splits was to see if I can widen my hips mechanically. And so I would try and pull my hips to give them a rounder shape, to the point where it would hurt. And that also did not work. Has been described as filling a male mold. I reached out to some of my friends and kind of asked them like what they thought of me. They said that like I seemed unnaturally male, as though I was filling a male mold and pretending to be male. And in many ways, like yes, I was, and because I was never that boy that would just be like masculine naturally. It just wasn't me. Likes to cross legs when sitting, and very female mannerisms. Yes, I kind of move my hands really daintily. I have like a somewhat feminine walk. I had to kind of like, because my mother kind of like thought it was weird whenever I was a kid. She asked me like what was wrong with my walk, and I had to kind of like shift it to a more masculine walk. But whenever I sit down, I cross my legs and try and just be naturally me. We already talked about heels. This one says, I love high heels, but they hurt my feet. Already went there, so we're not going to revisit that. Fantasizes about having a female body all the time, sure. Like, I kind of like look at my future and stuff like that, where I want to be, and sometimes it's like, well, not sometimes. The one part is sometimes. All the time I am in some variation of female doing something, like, whether it's like I'm master seamstress, or like cooking for my wife, or cleaning the house or something like that. Like it's always me in a feminine manner. Like I may not be in like a dress or anything, but I might be like in leggings, a shirt, and kind of like doing whatever I need to. This next one's a story, and so I'm just going to tell you the story, and then kind of like, and hopefully that kind of explains. So whenever I was young, my cousins thought it would be funny to put, we had two female cousins, and it was me and one of my other male cousins. Our female cousins thought it would be funny to catch me and my other cousin, and whoever they caught, they were gonna dress up and do their makeup. They did not catch me. I ran away because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. I was in this constant like weird area where I was trying to prove that I'm a boy. I'm the best. I always wanted to be the best. I'm competitive. So they caught my other cousin, and they didn't catch me because I climbed up a tree that they couldn't get to and staked it out essentially and waited up there for hours until they finally came out. My cousin was all dressed up, his makeup was done, and I was so envious and sad that I didn't even let myself get caught because I wanted to be in his situation. I wanted to be dressed up. I wanted my makeup done. I wanted to see, like, the feminine me. And I ran away from it, most literally. Just because that's how and it was a very big folly on my part, because that's how I assumed a boy would be. That's that one. Putting chapstick on makes me feel like I'm putting on lipstick. Whenever I was a kid, I always kind of associated lipstick with kind of like tasting very sweet and stuff like that because it was very bright. And I always got like fruity chapstick and stuff like that, and I would put it on, and it would feel like I'm putting on lipstick. And I would even get this candy from this gas station whenever I was a kid that was like lipstick candy. It was like a little sweet tart and like a lipstick too. And I would pretend to put it on, I would eat the lipstick candy and then throw the container away, and then that would be it. And I did that up until that gas station closed down. My wife transitioned, and it had me take a closer look at myself. I married my wife knowing exactly who she was. She knew who she was whenever we got together, and at first I didn't quite know what to think of it. All I knew was that I loved her and that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her. And in looking at that and realizing that, I realized I was not doing my part as her husband. So I started like looking into it and trying to get to know her situation better, because if there was ever an issue in a situation where I couldn't defend her regarding her rights and stuff like that, I wanted to be able to do that. So I started looking into it, figuring out like how people knew, how she knew, and stuff like that, and trying to like figure out things for like her surgeries, because if I was going to be her nurse during her surgeries, I was going to be the best nurse. There was nobody who was going to be better in that room for her than me. And that's what I wanted. I would look up, like, I would try and do my best to, like, get things and stuff like that together, and I would budget and stuff like that for her surgeries, because I wanted to make sure that we were prepared. I never wanted to let her down. I never wanted anything bad to happen to her, because if I lost her, I don't know what I would do, because I love her that much. And in kind of looking and listening to other people's stories, I started realizing, well, I don't think that, I would question, I'd be like, I don't think that's how that went, because I'm also did that. And then hearing it across multiple platforms and stuff, I was like, and then having it explained different ways, and I was like, oh shoot, that does make sense. Maybe I'm just more feminine, and as like I kind of like took a step back, I was like, I might be transgender, and then as it slowly progressed and progressed, and as I tried to bury it more and more, it turned to like, I am definitely transgender. I took online exams to see if I was transgender, and I tested transgender or cis female. Yeah, there were little goofy tests that I took, and I was like, let's just see how this works, and stuff like that. And there were a few that I was like, that is such a weird question. What does that have to do with it? And I still tested either a transgender woman or a cis female. Either way, I was being classified as a form of woman. I was like, uh-oh. It's not official, but that is kind of weird. This next one's also a story. Oh no, sorry, this one's not. So, in being born a boy, going through male puberty and stuff like that, and essentially being a transgender, like, I guess, lesbian, because I'm married to a woman. So I'm attracted to women. I did what normal boys did at the time, and that was like showing interest in the female figure. I would watch adult videos and stuff like that, and in them, I always was the female character in those scenarios, I guess, that were associated with them for me. Which is weird, and that's why I prefaced it in the beginning of the video. Some of these have autogynephilic, like, characteristics, but the base is that I wanted to be a woman not for anybody else but me. And it's what I needed to do. Love soft clothes and environments. Yes, I have a thing for soft clothes. Soft fabrics, materials, and stuff like that. At one point I had a job at Walmart, and they threw me in the crafts department because crafts has like a bunch of random little things, and I could move pallets of stuff very quickly and easily. Not for the crafts department, because I would get held up in the fabrics and I would just touch everything, and my manager thought it was funny. She came by and was like, this is why they should not put boys in like the fabrics department. But in just feeling everything and how soft it was kind of gave me like a little piece of serenity, and I kind of feel that same feeling whenever like I wear like a soft set of leggings and stuff like that, or just wearing female clothes. Let's see. I always knew I was different or special to the point that I used to never like spit and tried to not sweat. When running, I just knew. I knew I wasn't like the other kids from a very young age. I didn't know what it was. I was always very bad at making friends because I just had this ornate, like, feeling I'm not like you. I'm very different from you. I don't know why, because I'm here in the same classroom as you, but me and you are not the same. At all. And that was constantly reinforced by just how other kids acted, by how I acted. and what other kids like did and what I did. I had mostly female friends in school and got along with my female friends to the point up into like I was in like junior high. That was kind of when everything shifted, and I gained some male friends and then lost like most of my female friends, because whenever everybody kind of went through puberty again where they knew that I was attracted to girls, and so I was kind of like framed as like what other boys were, and it's kind of like you're a boy, you're kind of dangerous, keep you at a distance. I was like, oh, well, I guess there's that. So yeah. If I could wake up tomorrow, I would want to be a woman. That goes on the whole scenario where if there was a button and you could smash it and wake up as like the other gender, permanently, would you do it? And yes, I would break that button. Just because I want to be a girl. I wanted to be a girl like so bad. If I could wake up and have XX chromosomes, I would love to. I would love to, because it would be the end of kind of like the transgender portion that I have to go through, because we are like discriminated against, and the world is still kind of dangerous for us. I would rather have gone through my life being a cis woman. It is what it is, though. We already talked about me cross-dressing and how that feels. In short, it feels very freeing. Like a sense of right. As a kid, I hated clothes shopping and received clothes as gifts, but shopping for girls' clothes and receiving those as gifts makes my day. I think that kind of goes back to like the whole like this isn't right. I shouldn't be buying these clothes. I would much rather get like something soft, bright, and makes me feel like me. I think that's where that one went. We already talked about my favorite candy as a kid. This one's very arbitrary, but it's my hero was Max from Dark Angel. She's kind of like, she has like lesbian tendencies, but she's ultimately a very strong woman. And seeing her as a kid on TV, I was like, that's really cool. She's a strong woman that doesn't really need anybody else and can do her own thing. That's kind of what I think is cool, and what I would like to be. So that's all that's on this list. Sorry. Had to justify being a boy. That one is a story. So in junior high, when everybody was starting to go through their puberties and stuff like that, my friends, some of my friends being females, one of the few that didn't leave, one of them was having a very rough day, and she did not want to talk to me at all that day, which was weird because I was like the shrink of the group, I guess. Which is, so I thought that was kind of weird because everybody kind of felt that they could tell me whatever they wanted to, because they knew I wouldn't tell anybody if it was like a secret, and I was trustworthy. But she didn't want to talk to me. My friend kind of like interpreted for her. She's on that thing at the end of a sentence, and I was like, what does that mean? I don't know what that means. I don't know what you're saying right now. And she said she's on her period, she's a little emotional, and she doesn't want to be messed with. And I was like, I get it. I understand. And they kind of proceeded to explain to me a little bit as to like what it was, and I was like, man, that sucks. I am so glad. In my mind, I was like, I'm so glad I'm a boy because I don't have to go through all those things. I don't have to do my makeup. I won't ever experience a period. I won't ever get pregnant. I don't have to worry about being sexually assaulted. I don't have to worry about like being raped. A lot of that, not a lot of it. Some of those things I wanted to do. I wanted to do my makeup. I would love to be able to like give birth. And have that opportunity. As an individual with XY chromosomes, I am damned to never feel that. Never have a period or ever be able to carry a child. The sexual assault and rape thing I could 100% do without, and I'm pretty sure everybody can, because that's crazy. But I think I hit all the points on that one. So this next one's very personal and private, but it's when intimate takes the female role. Yes. I naturally take the female role. In every relationship I've had, that's how it's been, and it's felt better. I've been with men and I've been with women, and I've tried to take the masculine role, and it just doesn't ever feel right for me. It honestly feels wrong and alien, almost violating in some cases. Everything else was covered on that list too, which is good. Those are the reasons I knew. A lot of them would say that if you're questioning it, there's something to it. And I would agree. If you're questioning your gender, it does not necessarily mean that you're transgender, but it just means that you don't align to the extremes. Some others might say that if you're technologically savvy, I haven't found any merit in that at all. I am not technologically savvy. I can figure things out, but I am not technologically savvy. Taking female roles in games and stuff like that, I never did that. I didn't often do that. I did that a couple times. But most of the time, the games I played, the male characters were stronger, faster, had better armor, and stuff like that. And because I'm competitive, I would pick a male character. Having said that, if I was given the option to customize them, they they would be very feminine. And that was kind of like how I did it. I would prefer to be like, if I wasn't given like an option, if it didn't matter, I would prefer to not be like the male character. Like I played Halo and stuff like that, and I didn't like being Master Chief. I loved to be the 8-foot tall Arbiter, because even though the Arbiter was a male, it wasn't a human male. It was different. It was something alien. And it felt more natural to be the alien than it did to be like the man, the obvious man walking around. I'm trying to think of anything else that I missed. Oh, one other one was like knowing like multiple transgender figures in like the community, like celebrities, I guess. I didn't know a whole lot, but they're not hard to find. Some people are transgender and you never would have known. I never would have guessed that Laverne Cox was transgender. Never would have guessed. But yes, these are the reasons I knew I was transgender. These are some of the other things that you can use to figure out if you're transgender or not. I played around with not my hormones, with my pronouns for a long time, trying to figure it out, and it felt more natural for me to be called she. And whenever people would give me a name, like Brittany, Brandy, whatever it be, Stephanie, whatever it is, it felt better than being called like my name, because it was them acknowledging like, we know that you're a girl, and we know that you kind of have like a little masculine name to it, so maybe this will help you. And so they named me. That's it. Anyway, I hope this helped. And I hope that y'all are enjoying my content. I'm gonna try and do my best to be a little bit more energetic and stuff like that, and to keep my videos shorter, so that way I can keep y'all engaged. But please like, comment, subscribe if you would like to support my content. I appreciate all the support I've gotten from everybody so far. Thank you. This is Brianna Sinclair signing off.